Hi everyone, my name's Marcus Nichols and I'm in Mexico getting HSCT for my multiple sclerosis. Today is day 20. Today's been a day of not very much really, just hanging out at the apartment, went and sat down by the pool for a little while with a couple of the other, one of the other patients and her husband. It was good to get a little bit of sunshine and be a bit outdoors, get a bit of fresh air and things like that. Went for a little stroll up the street and back, and that's about it. Other than that, just been hanging out in the apartment, doing a few bits and pieces, but not very much. What I wanted to comment on today was that a number of people have made reference to the idea that, am I cured? Because I appear to have done really well and very, very healthy and sort of things like that, and coped very well. To explain what HSCT is, which I think I have done in one of the earlier video blogs, but just to give you an update, the idea behind HSCT for multiple sclerosis is that it halts the progression. So anyone who has listened to my earlier blogs on my current symptoms would know that I have a lot of symptoms. Yes, I'm not in a wheelchair, which is the most common thing that people sort of see. And most of my most of my symptoms are not seen. They're not being to the general public, and I can hide them to the most part. I use a walking stick these days, and that's purely to help me around because my legs go when I never know they're going to go. Some days I can walk 100 metres or 200 metres and it's not an issue and wouldn't need a walking stick. Other days I would be halfway through 150 metres or 100 metres and the legs would just start to go, and I definitely need the stick. So that is what it is. But what I was going to say is that with HSCT, the idea is to stop the progression, and it has a very good success rate in stopping the progression, close to 80%, or a bit over 80%. Me being secondary progressive, it's a little bit lower by about sort of somewhere between 5 to 10%, lower than someone who's relapsing remitting. But it's still very good odds. So the aim was to have this treatment to stop the progression so that if I could live my life exactly how my current illness is, I'd be able to manage. When I say be able to manage, I'll manage well. I'll manage very well. So the other side of HSCT for multiple sclerosis is that a lot of people get a reversal in some of their disability. So that's what the hope is as much as anything else. Okay, so the biggest hope is to stop the progression. Absolutely, there is no ifs, there's no buts. If I can avoid being in a wheelchair, then that's a fantastic thing for my life. If I can get some reversal of some shape or form to the point where I feel I can actually go back to work, in the sense that although I own my own business, I no longer work in the business, and I can do very little in the business, very little at all. Pretty much just sort of I wander around saying hi to people, and that's about it. There's not a lot I can actually be, and I've employed people to help me out on that sort of side of it. But the goal would be to get back to work. There's no question about that. Would be to get back to the enjoyment of running a business again. And if I can achieve that, that would be fantastic. So the reversal of symptoms that would allow that. And the biggest probably of all of the reversals, there's two big ones, is the fatigue. If I can shake that, and I can shake the brain fog, which anyone who has multiple sclerosis or some of the other diseases know what brain fog is. Those two things would make a really big difference. Even if my fingers don't recover, so I can still only type a tiny bit, I can always get voice to text software and other things to allow me to do some of the things that I could achieve. So they're the two big things that I'm really hoping for, and we'll sort of see. We won't know. This is the thing. We won't know whether I'm going to get some of those things or not. It could take somewhere between now and the next 2.5 years. That's about the time frame that most people are getting benefit from HSCT, somewhere around the 18 months to 2.5 year mark. So I won't really know. Over time, I will have a better idea, and hopefully I'll get little improvements along the way. And if I do, that's fantastic, and I'll be looking forward to it. But as I said, the two big ones I'm really chasing is the brain fog and the fatigue. If I can achieve those two things, then that would be fantastic. If I can't, then I'll have to reassess what I do, and I'll go from there. So I just thought I'd give you that update. Tomorrow is bloods. We're getting bloods drawn at 7 in the morning, off to the clinic at 10 to get our results. And at this point, I'll know whether, I'm not expecting there to be an issue with any of my bloods because the last ones were so fantastic. So we'll have a look at that and see. The hope is, and the potential hope is that they sort of say, yep, all good, you can go, which would be staggering because it would mean that in 3 weeks I've pulled through this treatment, that they have an average of a 7-week cycle for. They might say to me that I need to stay in Mexico for another week, and if they do that, so be it. We'll stay in Mexico for another week because they feel it's not safe for me to jump on a plane yet or something like that, even with masks and things like that, because I have a very low immunity, and that's going to be the case for a sustained period of time. So I have to avoid public gatherings and cinemas and all those sort of places that I run the risk of picking up particular illnesses at. We shall see. So tomorrow night we'll be either sort of saying, yep, I can make the changes and we can be home in the next week, or we're going to be here for another week. But I won't know that until tomorrow morning, until mid-tomorrow morning. So tomorrow I'll give you that update. Outside of that, thanks everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.